Hello. Thanks so much for dropping in. I have been back to the pool room, and I think I'm going to move some of this out of the way here. Just a moment here. More funny cables. But they don't need to be up there. Oh, they can be. Oh, yes. Another. Probably an. What does this say? Apple computer. Oh, it's for an Apple. Pro. Lots of pins missing. I don't know what this is for. Male, female. And it says Apple Computer 590-0037-8. It can go in the far out box of things to be checked out. And then ribbon, cables, ribbon, cables. So many. And what are they for? I don't know. So I'm going to put them with great care into the miscellaneous cable box. Almost. Made most of them. Okay, here we have a little tool set, which is missing most, but not all, of the tools. I'm thinking that I may be rid of this. This is a big step. These, of course, little wrenches, I will keep. I will put there. But this, they're handy and all, but I'm missing everything else that's in there. So indeed, perhaps into the recycling it will go. Now, here we have some T-Pug magazines. Oh, look at that. Oh, Jack Jamil, founder of Commodore. Markham District. Oh, pictures. When Andrew played baseball. Okay, gotta set them aside. I do. What is this? Oh. Okay. Cool. All kinds of things. More T-Pug magazines. A lot of this is when I was involved. Funny, you know what? I never liked this cover. But this cover. Right now, who did this? Okay, this one does not have a mailing list. This is from December of 1984, and indeed, that's my brother and I on the front. Or, they're twin copies of the twins. Over the years, actually long ago when this first came out, this was the one issue that there was no back issues available in the office, it seemed. But little by little over the years, I have found the occasional one, and I get it because, you know, I just do. So here, and that was December. This is August, September of 84, June 84, May 84, March, April 84, February 84. Yes. And here, this is another story. What's this one? March 85, January 85, October 84. Some of these covers, I thought, were pretty okay. February, March. Maybe I'll try and put May, June. Try and put these in order. August, September, October. There, they're kind of in order. Some of them, anyway, yeah, some of these I thought were pretty cool. And some of them, like, excuse me while I dust this off a bit. This was kind of cool with the disc. And actually, what this is that it's shot with here, it's basically just those funny little plastic things that used to be up above in offices for lighting. And there it is, a disc. And this is kind of cool. The official publication for the world's largest international Commodore users group. Yes. And here we have Randy the robot. That was pretty okay. And let's see. I haven't looked at any of these for quite some time. Oh, look. This is magic. Look. It's Brad Templeton, Jim Butterfield, and Steve Hunter. The Proline team. There they are. Magic. That in itself I should frame. Let me just look and see. Did I do anything in this? Did I? Doesn't look like it. Oh, yes, it did. CT7 list me, CT8 list me. 57 and 58. And what that was I started to put together a file on the disk that helped people understand what was going on the disk. And it would tell how to load it and other such things. And I mean, documentation is gold. There was one person I met through the bulletin board stuff. Her name was Joanne Park. My word, there's a lot of that. Oh, look. Oh, there's me. There's a picture. I'm sitting in the T-Pug office holding a disc and the World of Commodore t-shirt. Imagine. Yeah. Anyway, there was this lady I met. She ended up being like she was an incredible artist, Joanne Park. But when she was first getting started in computer stuff, she was just hopeless. And then somehow she got a T-Pug disc or two, and it had the list me file, and that really was what got her started on being able to do much of anything. And eventually, she got an Amiga 1000. I'm not sure what else, but she became, oh my God, some of the art she did was incredible. A lot of it was based on Star Trek. I remember one of my favorites was Captain Picard is standing in the back, and there is Mr. Data working on something at a sewing machine, and Picard is, of course, saying, "Make it so." Ha 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 ha. Anyway, this is an interesting story because in December of '83, look, here it is, the World of Commodore special issue of the Torpet, the independent Commodore Users magazine. Yes, well, recently, not long ago, actually, Bruce Beach, the fellow behind all this, has left the world. He was also one who he gathered and buried school buses for Armageddon and such. Oh, look, it's also got the Proline team. They did other sports too. Anyway, I don't think I had anything in this. I don't think. Because, of course, what happened was T-Pug was the club and Torpet was the magazine, and really it was the magazine of the club, but then there was trouble between Bruce Beach and the club. And he decided that the magazine really wasn't the club's, it was his. And so onward he went. To take over. Well, not take over. I mean, he did the magazine, but then it was like his. And that's when T-Pug magazine started because, yeah, it was ugly. Ugly, 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 ugly. It was a lot of political stuff. Anyway, there's a story in here about Jack Tramiel, the Origins of the Originator by Leslie Wood, Toronto, Ontario. Picture of a typewriter, picture of a calculator, an adding machine that doesn't look quite like mine, and then, of course, a pet. Looks like a classroom of pets. and other such things. The quality of the pictures in here is not great. But still, and the paper is mighty yellowed. But it is a nice cover. It is. Anyway, I lived through the battles over the Torpet and Teapot magazine, and one of the reasons that things went astray at some point was, mind you, I think, in all fairness, I think there were people on the club executive who wanted rid of the whole thing to do with having the separate magazine, but the same magazine and all that. So they were just looking for any reason to pounce. I know what that's like, where it doesn't matter if you're good at what you do. It doesn't matter if you're best at what you do. Some people just can't deal with it, and they're out to get you. Anyway, there was a thing on one of the issues, and I have to look around and find it, where it had a picture of this golden Vic 20, and it was supposedly the millionth Vic. Well, there was a little error in when it was printed and such, and it ended up being misspelled, and it was the millionth Vic 20. And anyway, of course, people on the executive pounced. There was another time when I think the wrong picture ended up on the cover. It ended up being people working in the office. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but anyway. Yeah. There was a lot of ugliness back then, and it was really, why are people fighting over this? We just want to use our computers, like our computers, and all of that. Now, I'm just looking to see if there's any other cables in here. I don't believe there are. I'm going to slide over here, put this stuff down, and I suppose while I'm over here, I should just check on the timing of all of this. So yeah, we're doing okay. So the rest of the stuff in this box, I think, has nothing to do with computers, but it is something that is very much Canadian. Behold the magic. Oh, and there's another ribbon cable buried in here to the box. Excuse me, let me. Yeah. So what we have here is definitely some examples of cornflower glass, which is something my grandmother had a lot of. I had no idea what it was, but before she died and we were going through and sorting out her apartment, we had made lists of things, and somehow or another I ended up with the cornflower. And since then I've added to it. See, this is some sort of a wine glass. I know the different sizes mean different things and stuff, but the cornflower is the pattern on the glasses. And these they were done individually, one at a time, by artists. And so basically, they would buy these glasses blank, they called them blanks, and then they would etch so it's not crystal. Some people, and I do correct people online if they put up things online that say cornflower crystal. Well, it's not crystal. It's not. And I'm not sure what all is in here, but I do need to have it. They could all be the same, but they could be different. But anyway, cornflower, it's quite something, and it was a Canadian thing. And they look all to be the same, I think, or similar. The other thing, of course, it's funny is, because they were done by individual artists, they had the same sort of idea, but, sometimes they would be a little different. These two look the same. This one has a funny pattern to, like, it's the thing. The other thing, of course, I always check is it's nice and smooth. But definitely the cornflower, the actual cornflower thing on this one, as opposed to this one, is bigger. This one is a little smaller. there are lots of counterfeits that say, "Oh yes, it's cornflower," and it is. They put the cornflower thing on them, but they're not. This is called Hughes cornflower, Hughes, and others, and they did things, but it wasn't. And the way you can really tell is around the edge of the flower. There are these little things they call serifs, and if they're there, it's Hughes cornflower, and if they're not, it's not. The other thing, of course, there's leaves on the side of all this, and there were some that had very similar patterns but with different leaves. So I don't really need to open up every single thing in here, and I'm sure I don't want to pile too much up over there, but this does seem, oh yeah, these are probably all the same. You know what, I'm going to dig down deep and grab another and see what is what, but I'm suspecting this is another very similar glass, and it is. Although, once again, the same but different. This too kind of has, you can see there's kind of individual panels on it, more like this one, but the cornflower on this one is higher up. Anyway, I don't know how many artists they had working there, but that was kind of the coolness of it, in that they were the same, but different. And I wonder how many they fouled up along the way. And I can't imagine. Like in these days, oh well, that one looks really. In these days, I could imagine having some sort of modern etching, something done by a computer-controlled thing. But I can't imagine having, I don't know how many people sat there day after day after day. And it wasn't just wine glasses. They had plates and little glasses and water glasses and all kinds of stuff. And it used to be in Canada, it was the thing that people sort of typically gave for people at weddings and stuff. So there was a vast assortment, and I have a vast assortment because my grandmother had a lot, and then I have collected more, even though I try not to. Sometimes, if I'm at a secondhand store and I see something like this for a reasonable price, and usually at the secondhand store it is, well, I always check to make sure. No flea bites. Nice and smooth. I used to not be so discerning, but I'm more discerning now. And I will add to the collection, which is not necessarily a good thing. But anyway, so I believe all of these things in this box are the same sort of glasses. And I suspect what I'll end up doing is packing them all away and taping up the box and marking them. They are kind of marked, and putting them somewhere here in the box room where they will be safe. They could probably use a face wash at this time, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, by the way, if you have any comments about cornflower, or memories of cornflower, the reason I find that it's often available at secondhand stores and stuff is a lot of the people who got it for their wedding presents and other things are dying or have died, and people now are just like, oh well, I don't know, what are we going to do with it? So it often ends up at secondhand stores or garage sales or other things. And anyway, don't be fooled. You gotta have the serifs, which are the little extra thing right around the leaf. If it's not there, it's fake. And even I, at times, have been fooled. But mind you, it was more in the early days when I didn't know better. I didn't. Anyway, if I had more time here, I would line all these up. I believe what I have here, and there's 4 glasses here, I believe 2 of them were done by the same artist, and the other two were done by not the same other artist, but two. So I think at least 4 glasses, it's 3 different people who worked on them, I think. And they're almost identical in terms of the sizing and everything, but they are a little different, but classy nonetheless. And anyway, I'll go through more of this as time goes on. But for the moment, I think that's enough. I think what I'll do is wrap up these glasses again, tape them up, put them away safe, continue to gather more stuff from the pool room, and see what I can find. And yes, it is slow progress, but progress it is. So I report to you from the box room, where there are boxes. I am surrounded by boxes. But I do find it's, well, as Sid Bolton, the late great Sid Bolton, who I miss every day, had a wonderful teacher that said, it's not hoarding if you're organized. So it's taken a long time, but I am striving, trying, hoping to get organized. One box at a time. Thanks for coming. We'll see you again. Bye for now. Bye for now. Oh. And that, for the moment, is a wrap.